Namo Buddhaya. In life, the people we associate with are very important. Why? Because if we associate with the wrong kinds of friends, with bad people, we can get into a lot of trouble in life. Our life can fall into violence and crime, and we can even end up in prison if we associate with bad friends. But if we associate with noble people, with noble, wise friends, we can live happily in this life and the next. That's why the Buddha said in the Discourse on Blessings, he explained the first blessing in a person's life, asevana cha balanam panditanam cha sevana, not to associate with bad, foolish people, but to associate with wise people. This is the highest blessing. Etang mangalam uttamam. So in our lives, to live happily, to live successfully in this life, the first step we need to take is to identify who the bad people are and who the good people are in this world. If we can't identify who's who, then we can't choose who to associate with. We need to be able to distinguish between bad people and good people. Then we can choose our friends wisely. And that decision will lead to our long-term happiness and well-being. So luckily for us, the Buddha taught us how to identify bad people and wise people, the bad person and the noble friend. So the bad person acts badly, speaks badly, and thinks badly. They think bad thoughts as well. If they didn't behave in such a way, how to recognize the bad person? But because they act badly, speak badly, and think badly, the wise person can identify, this is a bad person. I shouldn't associate with him or her. Now, the wise person, the noble friend, who we should associate with, they act in a good way, speak good words, and think good thoughts. And for that reason, we can understand them as a wise person. This man or woman, this boy or girl, is a wise person. Why? Because they think, act, and speak in a good manner. Now the Buddha taught us specifically what kind of actions characterize a person as good or bad. So the bad person kills living beings, either animals or people even. That is a characteristic of a bad person, a bad friend we shouldn't associate with. That person also steals the belongings of others. They engage in sexual misconduct. That person also lies, speaks divisively to break up people's friendships. They speak harsh words, unpleasant words, and they speak meaningless words. Maybe for hours on end just talking about nonsense, this rambling speech. It doesn't have anything meaningful for us. And also the thoughts they think. The bad person has a desire to gain the possessions of other people. They desire the possessions, belongings of other people. Oh, if I could have their car, their house, maybe even their boyfriend or girlfriend, they can be jealous of that person. And they also are angry. The bad person is angry, and they think thoughts of anger. And they also hold wrong view. They don't understand properly the nature of this life and this world. Specifically, they don't believe in karma. But the good person, now, so if we see a person with these qualities, would explain 10 actions that a bad person engages in by body, speech, and mind. So if we can understand, if we can identify that a person is doing these kind of things, then we should understand this is a bad person. I shouldn't associate with him or her, because that will lead to my harm, actually. But there are also good people in the world. Now, for the most part, in this time, a lot of people in the world are bad. So it's very difficult, actually, to find a good, noble friend, a spiritual friend in life. But they do exist in the world, and we can identify them through the Buddha's teachings. So the Buddha taught that a person who abstains from killing living beings, who abstains from stealing, doesn't steal the belongings of others, who doesn't engage in sexual misconduct, who speaks the truth, who doesn't speak divisively, who enjoys harmony between people, doesn't want to break up people's friendships with their words, and who speaks kind and gentle words that are pleasing, that go to the heart, touch the heart. And also that a good person, a noble person, speaks meaningful words at the proper time. They don't speak rambling for hours on end. Meaningless words. And also the good person, the noble person, doesn't desire the belongings of other people. The good person is happy about others' success. And they also aren't angry. The good person doesn't have an angry character. Sometimes they might get angry because that can be the nature of a good person, but they understand that it's a bad quality in the mind, and they're not habitually getting angry, and they will try to remove their anger because they understand that it's a bad quality leading to their own harm and the harm of other people as well. How much suffering in the world is caused by anger, right? Violence that people engage in, even wars started out of anger, right? And the good person also holds a right view about this life and the world. They believe in karma and its results. So in this way we can identify who the bad person is and who the good person is. So whether in school, at work, or when we're out and about, in the city or wherever, when we meet people, when we associate with people, we can gauge whether they're good or bad from their qualities. People have different characteristics, right? And we can understand through their characteristics, through their actions, whether a person is good or bad. Now, if we associate with bad people, like I said, we can reap a lot of pain and suffering in this life. We can get caught up in a lot of trouble, get into even crime, violence, and so on. But if we associate with good people, what is the final result? What do we gain by associating with noble people? The Buddha taught, Sabbhireva samaseta, sabbhi kubbeta santava. One should associate only with the noble, good person. One should become intimate, close with the noble, good person. Satang saddhamma manyaya sabba dukkha pamucchati. Having learned and understood the teachings, the spiritual teachings of the noble person, of the noble ones, one is freed from all suffering. That is the final result. So all the troubles, the pain, and suffering we experience in life, the Buddha taught that all of that has a cause. It doesn't happen randomly. It happens because of a cause, and that cause is an internal one, not because of external circumstances that we suffer. And that cause, which is craving, when it's removed, then we don't suffer anymore. We don't experience pain and suffering anymore. And the Buddha also taught that there's a path, there's a way to remove all of the suffering in our lives, That is the Noble Eightfold Path. So by associating with noble people, with noble spiritual friends, we get to learn the Buddha's teachings that lead to the end of all suffering, which is the highest happiness, if we say it positively, which is the highest happiness we can experience in life. So may we too, by learning the Buddha's teachings, be able to identify who the good and bad people are in this world. And then we can choose wisely to associate only to become friends with the noble people in this world. And by doing so, we too can be freed from all suffering. Namo Buddhaya.